Hey, this is David from Roadie, Backstage as a Service. The Backstage Scaffolder gives your organization a way to encode your best practices into a set of templates which all of your engineers can then use to create new services, websites, or other types of components. You can see I have two templates set up in my Scaffolder here. Each template is a YAML file, which looks a little bit like this. You can see this YAML file collects a set of parameters from the user at runtime. It then passes those parameters to a set of steps, which are defined here, which will do things like take a skeleton repo, pass the parameters into it to template out a new website, publish the website to GitHub, turn on GitHub pages so that it becomes a public website, and then register the website with a pinging tool so that we can tell if it's up or down. Let's run this template in Roadie Backstage to see what happens. First, I'll pick my template in the Scaffolder. Then I'll pass in a website name. And I'll tell the Scaffolder where on GitHub to create a new repository. Okay, let's run it. Now, in a few seconds, the Scaffolder will start up here and it's going to do four things. First, it's going to fetch a skeleton repository from GitHub. It's going to pass the parameters that I just defined into the skeleton and template out a new GitHub repository. Once it does that, it's going to send an API request to GitHub to turn on GitHub pages for that repository. That will automatically publish the website to the public internet so that other people can visit it. Now, once our website's on the public internet, we want to make sure that it stays up. So the last step that the Scaffolder will run will automatically register this new website with a monitoring tool called Better Uptime. I have defined how these things work in the Scaffolder template that I just showed you. As you can see, the logs are streamed back to the user as it runs. Now, let's check out the new repo we just created. Okay, this is the GitHub repo that the Scaffolder created. You can see it's called My Awesome Site 1, just like we passed into the input. It has a description and it has some files. It has a index.html, which people will be able to see on the public internet. It also has some documentation here. This will work with tech docs out of the box. And if we go back to Backstage and we go to the catalog and we filter to websites, we can see My Awesome Site 1 here is already in the catalog. If I click in there, I can see the CI, which has already started running. And I can see a link to the live website. If I click that, it takes me to my website. It doesn't look like much, but the name is there. And lastly, if I go to Better Uptime, you'll see my site is already set up there and being monitored. Hopefully that gives you a sense of what the Backstage Scaffolder can do. It's a powerful tool which can both improve your standardization and operational maturity while also making your engineering teams more efficient.